Hey loves, Lauren here. Welcome back to another practice with me. I hope you're all doing really well. I've called this practice a mind reset because if, like me, you've woken up with just a real heavy head this morning, there's lots of things perhaps weighing on your shoulders and we feel quite achy, quite stiff, we're going to spend a few moments throughout this practice to kind of shift our perspective, flip our world upside down, and hopefully allow all the many things that we're carrying up here, all the things and all the stuff we're holding on to kind of in a way tumble out, yeah, so we can just really let go of all that extra baggage that we're holding on to. There might be a little inversion practice at the end. We'll see how we go. As always, that is optional, so don't feel as though you have to. And what I do recommend is having a couple of blocks for this practice. As always, if you don't have blocks, anything block shaped will do, just to give you a little bit more support in kind of particular balances here and there, okay? So when you're ready, we're going to start seated. So let's take a few moments just to wriggle sit bones into the mat. Palms to hands softly land upon the knees. Let's slide those shoulders down and away from those ears. And straight away as we come to sit here, we might notice those little places of achiness, tension. So don't feel as though you have to come to absolute stillness here. You're welcome to have this little movement through the head and neck maybe. There might be a little wriggle through the shoulders. My shoulders are super tight this morning. Lovely. And if you're taking movements or whether you're coming to sit in stillness, wherever we are, let's have the eyes closed so you can really start to tune in here. Tune into all those little sensations that might be moving throughout the body. Listening to our thoughts for a moment again. Does it feel like the mind is really busy here? We've got lots of thoughts running through. And perhaps for today, rather than trying to push all those thoughts and feelings to one side, let's welcome them in a little bit. So really kind of bringing ourselves to our practice exactly as we are. So without trying to kind of separate ourselves into kind of different versions of ourselves, just be here, just as you. So again, if we're feeling achy, tired, or if you've just got that heavy head, just let it be here. And sometimes it's in that small note of acceptance that just actually allows everything to soften slightly. Maybe over time, after we see those thoughts, and again, we see that they're there, they might gradually get quieter and quieter, maybe. Okay. We're just going to take a few more breaths as we are. Slow, steady inhale. Slow, steady exhale. See if we can gradually slow that breath down even more, maybe. Beautiful. Let's take 2 more breaths. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. 1 more. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Beautiful. From here, keeping the eyes closed, let's just gently bring the palms of the hands together in front of the heart space. We're going to rub the palms of the hands together just a couple of times until we build up a little bit of heat in between the hands. And once you feel like you've got enough heat there, gently place the hands over your eyes. Lovely. So feel that warmth. You might blink the eyes a couple of times, blinking in that heat as you warm up the eye sockets, warm up the muscles of the face. And then slowly start to separate the fingertips, let a little bit of light filter through. And then very gently let the hands completely fall away from the face, and you can open your eyes back into your little yoga space today. So maybe again, already starting to feel that a little bit more grounded here, maybe just a little bit more settled. And let's very gently move into our tabletop. So you might just swing the ankles round to one side, find yourself onto your hands and onto your knees, and as always, we might notice how the wrists are feeling today. Do the wrists feel particularly tender? So we might just be aware of that. If you're wanting to move through a little bit of a warm up for the wrist, you're more than welcome to. We're just going to start to come through our cat and cow. So as we take a breath in, let's let the belly glide down towards the mat, lift it through the head and heart, lift the tailbone up to the sky, gazing ahead. And as we exhale, starting to drop the chin towards the chest, tuck the tailbone under, rounding through the back. Beautiful. And we're just going to keep this at a really nice steady pace. So if you notice you've got a little bit more energy today, you're more than welcome to move through this a little bit more quickly. But sometimes it's really nice to slow things down, especially if we're so used to rushing from one place to the next. Slowing things down, again, just gives us a moment to literally just take a breath and be in one place. And here you might really start to feel the breath kind of taking you from one place to the next. So it's the inhale that takes the heart to the sky. It's the exhale that rounds through the back. Lovely, really well done. Take a few more rounds, and maybe gradually over time the movement starts to develop slightly or starts to build. We might notice that gradually a little bit more space creeps in and we find just a little bit more freedom in the body. Okay. Let's take one more full round at your own pace. So another inhale. And another exhale. Beautiful. Let's have one more inhale to lift up through the head and heart, letting the belly glide down. But from here, we're going to tuck all 10 toes under if they're not already. Let's start to press the hips back towards the heels and then really engaging through fingertips and toes as we start to lift the knees. Lift the hips and come into our downward facing dog. Beautiful. So you're welcome to have as much movement in your down dog. And this again is our kind of first instant of flipping our world upside down, shifting our perspective slightly. So let's really let the head go here. Shake the head, nod the head, so completely releasing through the back of the neck. You can even close the eyes here if that feels okay, or you might just gaze back towards your feet or your shins. Beautiful. And let's just take one more breath here. One more exhale. Beautiful. Bending through the knees, lift the gaze, look forwards. And let's just very gently walk the feet all the way towards the hands. So taking your time as you go. Coming into this little forward fold, and we're just going to hang heavy for a few moments here. So keep a little bit of softness through the knees. And if the hamstrings are feeling particularly tight today, you might even kind of rest the forearms on the thighs. Takes a little bit of the pressure off, keeps us ever so slightly lifted. But still, can we just let the head go? And you're welcome to kind of sway the head from side to side. But if you're happy to completely dive down into fold, maybe catch hold of opposite elbows, let the entire torso sway from side to side, and just hanging heavy here. And whilst we're here in this standing forward fold, I really invite you to imagine this waterfall just kind of trickling down the length of your spine. So it starts at the very base of your spine, and then it runs down the length of your spine, runs down the back of the neck, eventually falling off the crown of the head. And as that waterfall rushes down the length of the spine, imagine that it kind of takes away, again, any of that extra stuff that we've been holding on to, any thoughts that haven't been serving us recently. Let those many thoughts kind of fall away from the crown of the head with that waterfall. And it just slowly falls into this peaceful pool just beneath your feet. And then the mat just kind of takes it all away. Beautiful. And again, you're more than welcome to shake the head as much as you wish. Beautiful. And when we think of water, we think of this kind of cleansing energy. So really let that water just cleanse right the way through. Let's go for one more breath in. And one more breath out. Now we've been upside down here for quite some time. So let's take it steady as we push the feet into the earth and slowly stack up bone by bone. So you're just going to let the fingertips kind of drag up the length of the legs. Really take your time with this, so getting literally at a snail's pace here. Gradually rising up, and the head is going to be the final thing to lift. Let's take a nice big shoulder roll maybe, so we're going to lift the shoulders up to the ears. And exhale, send them down and away. Beautiful. So again, as you come to standing here, any little wriggles you want to take, anything just to help you feel a little bit more steady on your feet, feel free to do so. We're just going to work through a very brief little sun salutation just to kind of work through the kinks a little bit, okay? So let's take a deep breath in. We're going to sweep the arms up to the sky, maybe follow your fingertips with your gaze, so reaching on up. And as we exhale, it's going to be a nice big swan dive back down towards the mat. So we hinge at the hips. Again, a little bit of softness through the knees. Dive it back down to that fold. Beautiful. As we inhale, let's add in a halfway lift. So we're going to bring the fingertips to our shins. Rising up, flat back. And as we exhale, let's slowly melt it back into that fold. Beautiful. From here, bend the knees so much so that the fingertips can come down to the ground. And let's just take a little step back with the right foot. So right foot lands to the back of the mat. Let's carefully lower that right knee down to the ground. If you feel like that right knee needs a little bit more support, you're more than welcome to use a blanket or fold your mat up here just to give it a little bit more cushioning. And then when we're ready, let's slowly brush the fingertips along the mat and rise up into a little low lunge here. Okay. So you can be in this low lunge wherever you wish to be. Sometimes it feels quite nice to just be a little bit more upright, focusing on the tuck of the tailbone under. So you can feel that stretch across the front of the right hip flexor. If you wanted to, you might creep the left toes a little bit further forward and then very subtly glide the hips forwards and down without taking this too much into the spine. So what we kind of want to avoid here is this motion where we really let the hips drop down and we're really kind of overarching through the spine. So let's keep the rib cage knitted together. And if you want to sink forwards, it's this really kind of mindful glide of the hips forwards without kind of sinking or crashing down here. Beautiful, okay. So let's just stay for 2 more breaths wherever we are. Take a deep inhale. And an exhale. Let's go for 1 more. Really well done. Let's gently melt the heart back forward so hands land either side of that left foot. We might bring our blocks in here, so bringing the blocks down to the ground underneath each hand. We're going to add in a little half split stretch mobility here. So let's take a few moments just to rock the weight backwards and forwards. So you're going to send the hips just as back as they far as they want to go. Lengthen that left leg as far as it wants to go. And then shifting it forward. So we're just going to go forwards and back. Beautiful, really well done. Let's maybe go once more. Forwards and back. And then this time as we come forward, let's really think about letting the hips drop, letting the heart rise. And then as we exhale, coming back, let's stay within that half split stretch. You're going to lift the toes maybe up to the sky. Keep that softness in that left knee. So what we really want to avoid is this, where we really lock out into that knee joint here. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so we keep a little micro bend there. You can bring the blocks closer towards you, underneath the shoulders. You can also bring the blocks to whatever height you prefer. So these blocks have kind of 3 different levels of height. So again, if you want to give yourself more space, you're more than welcome to do so. And again, especially if you're practicing first thing this morning like I am, this might be quite intense for those hamstrings. So take it easy. Beautiful. We're going to think about sending hips to the back of the room, heart shining forwards. So we're hinging at the hips with a relatively long spine here. So we're leading with the belly, chest, and chin, rather than leading with the crown of the head and diving forwards here. So keep the heart space ever so slightly lifted. Really well done. Let's just go for 1 more breath here. 1 more exhale. Beautiful. And then from here, let's gently bend back into this left knee. You can place the blocks out to one side. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to simply slide this left foot all the way back next to right, coming into a tabletop. If you wanted to lift up to a full plank today, you could do by tucking the toes under and bringing the hips in line with the shoulders. Again, if that's not where we want to go today, no worries. You can stay into a modified plank, so bring the shoulders over the wrists, knees, hips, shoulders in this nice long line. Take a breath. And as we exhale, we're just going to sturdily come all the way down to the ground. Beautiful, really well done. We're going to take a nice loop back of the shoulders, so send the shoulders down and away from the ears. And it's going to be a back bend of choice here, so you're more than welcome to start to rise up to your cobra and shine the heart space forward. Or you might want to stay a little bit lower down to the ground. You might prefer to take a sphinx, and I'm really loving sphinx at the moment. It's just that real kind of gentle heart opening where it doesn't impact on the lower spine too much. Okay. So wherever you have chosen to be, let's take 1 full breath in. And a full breath out. Lovely. Let's gently slide the elbows out to the side. Ripple the heart down towards the mat. Beautiful. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Let's bend the knees and cross the ankles just above your bum. Take an inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to push the ground away. Rise on up. Back through that modified plank. We release the feet. Tuck the toes, and we're going to send the hips back up high to the sky, back to that downward facing dog. Beautiful. So again, let's really let the head go here. Shake the head, nod the head. Beautiful, really well done. Really engaging through fingertips here. And of course, you're welcome to pedal out through the feet if you wish. Go for one more breath in. And one more breath out. Let's bend the knees, lift the gaze, and let's again steadily walk forwards to the top. Steadily planting one foot to then the other. Back into that forward fold. And again, let's hang out here again, shall we? So does this forward fold feel slightly different compared to when we were first here? Do we feel like the hamstrings are starting to be a little bit more receptive to the stretch, maybe? Can we let the head go a little bit more? Maybe we come back to that waterfall idea. Lovely. One more breath. One more exhale. Beautiful. Bending through the knees, and let's slow and steady roll it through the spine. Again, take your time here, so it doesn't have to be a race to get to the top. So gradually push the feet into the earth, stacking up bone by bone, and then the head is the final thing to lift. And we take that nice big shoulder roll. Beautiful. Okay. Let's just go through that again, just on the other side. So let's take another deep breath in. Sweep the arms up, growing tall. And as we exhale, nice big hinge at the hips, dive it down. Back to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, fingertips rise up to the shins. And exhale, dive it back down. Bend to the knees, fingertips come down. This time we're going to step back with the left foot. So launching that left foot to the back of the mat. And then carefully lowering that left knee down to the ground, untucking the toes. Beautiful. Pad out the knee if you wish, and then when you're ready, rise up. Low lunge. Okay. So take a few moments just to arrive in your low lunge. Decide where you want to be. Do you want to glide those hips forwards and down slightly? Or maybe you want to stay a little bit more lifted. As always, it's up to you. Wherever you can feel that little stretch across the front of the left hip flexor, and wherever we feel stable, it's okay. Okay. Go for one more breath in. And a breath out. Beautiful. From here, simply melting the heart forwards, hands land either side of that right foot. Maybe bring the blocks back in here. And let's take a few moments just to shift the weight forwards and backwards. So again, we sink a little bit more into that right knee. And then we send the hips back. So the hips come over level with that left knee. We lengthen through that right leg as much as we wish. Beautiful. Couple of times. See if we can marry the movement to our breath. So it's an inhale to come forwards. An exhale to come back. One more time. Inhale to come forwards. Exhale to come back. Beautiful. Let's inhale to come forwards. And again, this time, really think about hips dropping down, heart rises. And as we exhale, pressing the hips back and settling into this half split stretch. So again, you're welcome to walk the hands a little bit closer towards you. And maybe we'll start to peel those right toes off the mat. So really digging the right heel into the earth. And really lifting those right toes as high to the sky as they can go. So you really start to light up through the back of this right leg. Okay. Again, keep a little bit of softness through that right knee. Making sure we're hinging at the hips and folding belly, chest, then chin, rather than leading with the crown of the head. So we keep this long spine throughout here. Beautiful, really well done. Notice whether one side feels a little bit different compared to the other. That's okay. Let's go for one more breath in. One more breath out. Beautiful. Let's gently bend back into that right knee. Plant that right foot back down to the ground. Let's again step those blocks out to the side. And we're going to simply slide that right foot all the way back next to left. Coming into a tabletop, and again, you are more than welcome to rise up to a full plank here if you feel super strong today. Or you might just come with me and stay in a modified plank. So shoulders over the wrists, hips in line with the knees and shoulders. We take a breath. And as we exhale, we hug the elbows in and steadily lower, rest of the body down towards the ground. And again, it's a back bend of choice. So as you inhale, rising up either to a cobra, or you might take a sphinx. Beautiful. So really making this practice what you need it to be today. We don't always need to be going to our maximum. If we're kind of so used to going to cobra, for example, in these vinyasas, sometimes it's nice to take that little step back, come to a sphinx, stay a little bit lower down to the ground. So don't always have to be kind of pushing ourselves all the time. Okay. Let's go for one more breath wherever we are. As we exhale, let's again ripple the heart back down towards the mat. Maybe slide the elbows out to the side. Hands come back underneath the shoulders. And again, teeny moment of strength here. You're going to bend the knees, cross the ankles just above your bum. Take a breath. And as we exhale, we rise back up. Beautiful. Release the feet. Tuck the toes. Hips are going to go high. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. Really well done. Okay. Let's spend a few moments here. So again, maybe just about 2 breaths. Take as much movement as you wish, or you might settle into stillness here. One more breath in. One more breath out. Beautiful. Take a breath in. Lift the gaze, look forwards, bend the knees, and again, let's make our way back to the top. Beautiful. Back into that forward fold. 3rd time here now. Again, does it feel different? Maybe it feels exactly the same. Just notice. Beautiful. Really let the upper body hang heavy. So the arms, the shoulders hang heavy. Back of the neck releases. One more inhale. And one more exhale. Beautiful. Let's bend through the knees. And slow, steady, roll it through the spine. Okay, take your time. Head is the final thing to lift. When you get to the top, take that nice big shoulder roll. Have any little wriggles here that you might wish to do. Beautiful, really well done. From here, we're going to bring our hands towards our hips for a moment, and let's ground down through the left foot first of all. And we're going to take a nice big step back with this right leg. Okay, so stepping that right foot back, and we're actually going to bring this right heel down to the ground. So we're going to come into a warrior 1 first of all. If you've been practicing with me a long time, you know that I very rarely actually teach a warrior 1, just because I don't actually feel like it's actually quite nice for the body. I usually teach a high lunge where we lift that back heel. But for now, we're going to take a warrior 1. Sometimes it's nice to practice the things we rarely teach or rarely practice, okay? So making sure hips are square to the front of the mat, right foot is flat to the ground. We start to sink into this left knee, and it doesn't have to be a super deep bend today. Maybe again, it's just that little bit of softening, driving the pelvis down. If it feels okay to do so, let's take the arms up to the sky. Beautiful. You might also feel a deep stretch down through the right Achilles tendon, the right calf muscle. Okay. Let's go for another breath in. And a breath out. Lovely stuff. From here, we're going to take a deep breath in. Let's reach up as tall as we can. As we exhale, big sweep of the arms back behind us. So let's lift up through the heart space, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then we're going to bring the hands back behind us. So you're welcome to just, again, bring hands to hips slightly, squeeze the elbows together. Maybe bring 2 fists into the lower spine. Maybe you take hold of opposite elbows, or of course there is the option of taking a reverse prayer instead, okay? So depending on where you want to be today, pick the option that serves you most. I prefer to kind of take hold of opposite elbows, opposite wrists, but it's entirely up to you. We're going to start to push down through that left foot, lengthen that left leg. Take a deep breath in to really lift up through the heart space. And as we exhale, hinging at the hips, starting to dive forward. So we're coming into our pyramid pose. Beautiful. So you might have noticed all these kind of shapes that we're taking today, or the majority of the shapes we're taking today, is about letting the crown of the head dive down towards the earth. Again, coming back to that waterfall imagery. Letting this water kind of run down the length of your spine and just washing away all that extra stuff. Beautiful. So it doesn't matter where we are in the fold here. Maybe you might be parallel to the ground, you might be in a little tilt, or you might again be folding that a little bit further, but it doesn't matter. Fold to a place that feels best for you. Okay. Keeping the heart open as best as we can, so keep the shoulder blades ever so subtly squeezed together. Let's go for one more breath. One more exhale. Beautiful. From wherever we are, let's gently release the hands, and maybe we find our blocks again here, and it might be best to bring the blocks to maybe their highest height here. I'm going to take a little step back because I've got limited space, so if like me you've got a wall in front of you, maybe take a little step back. So we still have that left foot out in front. We're going to then shift the weight forwards into that left foot, into the both hands. Peel the right foot away from the mat, and then eventually let's send that right leg to the sky to come into our standing L shape, or maybe it's a standing split today. It's entirely up to you. Okay. And we have the blocks underneath the hands helping us keep sturdy and keep stable. Beautiful. So I don't really want you to worry about how high that right leg goes. What we're trying to encourage here is, again, this release to the back of the neck. So let the head drop down heavy if we can. And you might even be able to spy your right toes in the air back behind you. Beautiful. Take a breath. Take an exhale. Lovely stuff. Let's gently bend into that left knee into your standing leg. Bring the right knee to the back of the left, and then very gently you're going to lay your right shin down towards the ground. And then use your hands to help you as we gradually bring sit bones all the way down towards the mat, and hopefully we land with the left leg crossed over the right. Now this might feel like we've kind of tied ourselves in a knot slightly, so if you prefer to release the bottom leg, the right leg out in front, so we have the left leg just crossed over on top, you're more than welcome to be here. We're just going to take a little twist. Let's bring that left hand back behind us. Maybe we take a breath in, right fingertips sweep on up to the sky. And as you exhale, maybe we hook the right elbow to the outside edge of the left knee, or you might prefer to just hug the thigh into the chest. Beautiful, really well done. Okay. Taking that little twist, this gentle wringing out of the spine, and again, after letting the crown of the head dive down towards the earth, how does it feel to now bring us right side up? To have the sit bones rooting down and the crown of the head reaching to the sky. Beautiful. Does the head start to feel a little bit lighter here? Maybe. One more breath in. One more breath out. Okay. As we inhale, we're going to gently unravel, so we come back to facing ahead. We're going to lean into fingertips back behind us. Now you're welcome to let the legs unravel, and maybe you swing the ankles round to one side. Or you're going to cross to the ankles, and then see if we can bring the body up and over through the legs, and then step it back to our downward facing dog. Beautiful. Okay, so however you got here, again, making sure it's the right option for you. Beautiful. Let's just take one more breath in, our down dog. And a breath out. Beautiful. Bend the knees, lift the gaze, looking forward. And gently coming back into that forward fold. Beautiful. Okay, I've lost count. I think this is the 4th time we're here today. Beautiful. Okay, let's have one more breath here. And an exhale. Bending through the knees, and we steadily roll it through the spine. Actually, this might be the final time we come to standing here. Beautiful. Pushing the feet into the earth, slowly stacking up bone by bone. Again, let the head be the final thing to lift. Maybe you take another nice big shoulder roll. Okay, super. Let's just gently work through that on the other side, shall we? So, hands come to hips. This time we take a nice big step back with the left leg. Okay, and again we're going to bring that left foot flat down to the earth, also making sure that as you step the foot back, making sure the feet aren't on a tightrope here. That again might affect our balance. Step the feet slightly out to the side, so kind of like you're on train tracks here, to give you kind of more of a steady base underneath you. We're going to sink into that right knee, drop the hips down. Beautiful. Warrior one. Okay, once we feel okay here, let's take the arms up to the sky. Super. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Let's have just one more. Okay. Let's inhale to reach up that little bit higher. Exhale, circle the arms back and down. Nice big stretch across the heart space here. Beautiful. And then again, you're going to bring the hands down to wherever feels best. It might be hands to hips again. Maybe it's fists to the lower spine. Maybe it's taking hold of opposite elbows or opposite wrists. Or maybe you take that reverse prayer. Again, so many options here, so really do take the time to pick the one that's going to serve you most. We're going to push down through that right foot, start to lengthen that right leg. Take a deep breath in, heart to sky, lift the chin. And as we exhale, it's that big hinge at the hips as we start to fold over the right leg. Beautiful. And again, only go as far as you want to go. We might even bring our awareness to our hips for a moment. Can we think about sending the right hip back, left hip forwards? Super. Keep the heart open as you dive. 2 breaths here. One more. Lovely. Gently releasing the hands down. Find your blocks, okay? And I do recommend having the blocks to the highest height. If you need to have a little step back, you're welcome to. And then we shift the weight into the right foot. Both hands, peel the left foot away from the mat and send that left leg to the sky. Beautiful. Again, it doesn't really matter how high that left leg goes. What I really want us to focus on here is releasing the head. Beautiful. So releasing through the back of the neck. Shift the gaze, look back behind you. Maybe you can spy your left toes in the air. Super, really well done. Take a breath. And as we exhale, bend into the left knee, slightly bend through the standing leg. And then you're going to bring the left knee to the back of the right knee. Gently lay that left shin down towards the ground. And super, super steady as we bring sit bones down to the ground. Use your hands to help you. Beautiful. And we slowly again come right side up. Okay, you're more than welcome to unravel that bottom leg like we did on the other side, so that we can comfortably bring both sit bones down towards the mat. Okay. Let's take that right arm back behind us. Take that little twist. Deep breath in. And as we exhale, maybe we hook the elbow, or you might prefer to just hug the thigh into the chest instead. Lovely. Wringing out of the spine here. Let's take 2 breaths here, shall we? Take an inhale. Take an exhale. One more. Lovely, really well done. As we inhale, it softly start to unravel. And then you're going to let the legs unravel, so lean into the hands back behind you. And again, you're welcome to just swing the ankles round to one side, or you're going to cross at the ankles, see if we can come up and over through the legs. And when you're ready, step it back to that downward facing dog. Beautiful, really well done. Okay, let's hang out in our down dog for a moment or so. Take a steady breath in. Take a steady breath out. One more. Beautiful. And then from here, we're very gently going to let the knees come all the way down towards the ground, landing as softly as they can. Maybe as the knees come down, we take a moment to separate the knees slightly out to the side. Bring the big toes together to touch. Press your hips back towards the heels. And let's take a little child's pose here. You're welcome to keep the fingertips reaching out in front. Maybe letting the forehead kiss the earth. Or sometimes it feels quite nice to stack one fist on top of the other and use that as a little platform for the forehead to rest on. Beautiful. We're just going to slowly kind of unwind a little bit here. Let the body sink into the mat a little bit. Notice the softness the mat brings, how it cushions you, molds the shape of your body. Lovely. Let's maybe take 2 more breaths as we are. One more. Okay. As we inhale, let's really gently lift the head and chest. So starting to rise up. Let's maybe come to kneeling for a moment. I'm going to give you a couple of options here. So if we have headstand already in our practice and we can kind of comfortably come into the inversion, maybe that's where we go next. And again, I'm still going to take a little bit of time to break it down for you. If you'd rather skip out headstand, I do have another option for you where you're going to take legs up into the air. So if you have a little bit of wall space next to you, and that goes for headstand or legs in the air, you're going to, so if you're taking legs in the air, you're going to bring your bum as close as we can get to the wall, and then you're simply going to lie back and take the legs into the air. And this feels like a really comfortable place to just kind of lie, let the entirety of the spine rest down into the mat, and let the wall completely take the weight of the legs here. So the legs can kind of be heavy, be soft. So this might be where you want to come instead, okay? So if you're happy here, be here, okay? If you wanted to have a little look at headstand, we're going to come into it through a child's pose. And we're going to really think about setting up this base for us, okay? So we're going to interlace the fingertips, and we're almost going to create this kind of triangle shape here. So if you were to bring the hands interlace and send the elbows out to the side, that is your base, and that's going to take 70% of the weight as you come down to the ground. So we literally bring that triangle down towards the mat, and then we're going to tuck the chin towards the chest, gently bring crown of the head down towards the mat, so the hands cradle the back of the head here. From here, we might tuck the toes under and lift the knees off. We might then start to walk the feet in a little bit. This might be as far as you go, and you're welcome to just stay here. This is still very much an inversion. If you wanted to send one leg to the sky, maybe that's where you want to go. If we then want to send both feet up, you can keep one knee to the chest, that's cool too. Or you might send both legs up straight. It's really entirely up to you here, wherever you are. Maybe stay for roughly 3 breaths or so. Doesn't need to be an absolute age we're upside down. Making sure we're still breathing. Super. Okay. And then when you're ready, slowly releasing one foot down, followed by the other. Gradually lower the knees. And before rising up, let's take a little child's pose. We gradually let everything steadily come back down. Beautiful. And if you're with the legs reclined or legs in the air, stay where you are. If you're still working with headstand, if you're taking the time to find it, no worries, you can pause the video if you'd like. Take as long as you need. Beautiful. Just a little inversion to kind of seal our practice here. So if you're finished with that little headstand, take roughly 3 to 5 breaths in your child's pose. Slowly coming back down to the earth. Beautiful. Let's have one more breath in. One more breath out. And then when you're ready, inhaling to gently rise up. Beautiful. And then from here, we're just going to nice and easy come back down to the ground. So maybe we just kind of drop the knees, drop the hips. We're going to have a little spin around here. And we're going to come all the way down onto our backs. Nice and easy. Okay. So coming down to lie on our backs. And if you prefer to stay with the legs up in the air against the wall, you can be there. That's totally cool. Like I said, it's a really comfortable place to be. And maybe as we come to rest here, you're welcome to have the legs straight out ahead of you, or you might let the knees knock together, separate the feet slightly out to the side. Notice whether it feels best for you to bring hands to belly or chest, or maybe you take the arms out wide. And just slowly land into a place that feels super, super comfortable and super nourishing for you to be in. Where we can let the whole body be supported here. So we don't need to hold the body in a particular shape, but rather we can just let ourselves be held. Be held by the earth beneath you. You might even feel that steady vibration of the earth beneath you. This constant movement almost, and recognizing how we move alongside it. Sinking into stillness. And just feeling that gentle movement of the breath, that gentle rise and fall of the belly. And over time, just gradually getting heavier and heavier here. How does it feel now to let the back of the head be supported? Maybe as we let the body sink into the mat, there might be this sense of spaciousness here. Or again, maybe we feel just that little bit lighter as we've kind of let go or washed away all of those many things we find ourselves holding on to. Or you might still be working through that process of letting go. So again, as you lie back here, maybe still gently shedding the weight of those many things, peeling back these many layers, and just letting the mat softly take them away. And let's just be here for a little while longer. So as you come to rest, again remind yourselves that nothing else matters here. Just you, just that steady breath. And let everything else just be. Everything is as it should be here. Let's take a slow, steady drink of breath in through the nose. Softly sigh out through the mouth. And again, deep breath in. Deep breath out. And final time, deep breath in. Deep breath out. And maybe softly start to welcome little bits of movement back into the body. Wriggling through fingertips and toes, rotating the wrists, the ankles, and just gradually let this movement build into anything you need it to be. It might feel quite nice to take this nice big stretch along the mat. Reaching the arms up and above, back behind you, stretch the toes out in front. And then when you're ready, let's just gently choose a side, either the left or the right, rolling over to that one side, and then ever so gently using the hands to help you as you rise all the way back up to seated here. And take your time to rise, there's no rush. Beautiful. Coming back to a very similar place to how we started here. So nestling the sit bones into the mat, palms to hands land upon the knees, sliding those shoulders down and away from those ears. Taking a moment to seal the practice, as we always do, with the final blessing. May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you at night. May the rain wash away your worries. May the breeze blow new strength throughout your being. And may you walk through the world knowing its beauty all the days of your life. And with that, we bring the palms to hands together in front of the heart space. And we bow. Beautiful, rising on up when you're ready. Thank you so much for joining me today for that little mind reset. Hopefully we just feel a little bit lighter, maybe just a little bit clear in our minds, or clearer in our minds. It was lovely to practice with you today, and I hope to see you again in 2 weeks when I'll be back on the mat with you. Hope to see you then. All right. Mwah. Bye. Hey Yogi, thank you so much for practicing with me. I really hope you enjoyed your practice. Just thought I'd sneak in at the end here and say if you are wanting to practice a little bit more, if you perhaps want to dive a little bit deeper into the beautiful world of yoga, then the great news is that I'm offering one-to-ones online. So you can join me from the comfort of your home, me from mine, and we can get together either live online or I'll pre-record some classes just for you. And the beauty of those practices is that they are tailored to what you desire. So if you're just wanting to learn a little bit more about yoga, if you're a beginner and you're not quite sure what's what and you want to get a deeper understanding of anatomy or how the body kind of moves around on the mat, or maybe you're just wanting to try slightly different practices, if you're wanting to try yin yoga, for example. Or maybe we're kind of building up the confidence to maybe return to the studio in person and we're not quite got that confidence just yet. So if any of those speak to you, or maybe it's something else entirely, do feel free to reach out to me. You can either check me out on Instagram, send me a message over there, or just send me an email and I would love to practice with you. Whatever it is, I'd love to tailor the practice to suit you, suit your individual needs, and we can go on this little journey together. So as I say, all the details are below if you want to have a chat, and I hope to hear from you very soon. All right, lots of love. Mwah.